All right, man, peace. So, brothers, it's already on record that, in my view, Jerry Rice is the greatest football player of all time, without a doubt the greatest wide receiver of all time. Not the most talented or the most naturally gifted or the most exciting wide receiver of all time, even though, in my view, he probably is the most exciting wide receiver of all time. Because from about 1989 to 1995, or whenever it was that he was involved in that injury where Warren Sapp grabbed him and basically snapped his knee, he was the most explosive player in the NFL in regards to his ability to make huge plays, to make something out of nothing. Jerry Rice could turn a 5-yard slant pattern or crossing pattern into an 80-yard touchdown better than any receiver in NFL history to this day. And the only wide receiver who could challenge him in regards to his ability to go across the middle in that era was Andre Reed. Well, just to get to the point, Jerry Rice is also very honest. He was recently asked about Eli Manning and whether or not he thought that Eli Manning is a Hall of Fame quarterback. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Eli Manning ain't no Hall of Famer, and that's not me saying it. It's another Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest Hall of Famer of all time, Jerry Rice. Look at Babcock over there being upset.
I don't know what he's upset about. It's the truth. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Fame quarterback by his credentials. Now, of course, people are going to say, wait a minute, he won 2 Super Bowls. Yes, he has won 2 Super Bowls. But other than that, for the most part, he's been very average. The only reason why he was drafted as high as he was is because he's a Manning. Eli Manning is a Manning. That's why he's lasted in the NFL as long as he has. That's why he was drafted so high. Because this dude has led the league in interceptions at least 3 times. He's a nice quarterback who's had a couple of magic carpet runs. No, in my view, he is not a Hall of Famer, but will he get in? Yes, he will.
Jerry Rice absolutely destroyed Eli Manning. Mike, I'm going to let you take this one right here.
Yeah, Jerry Rice was giving an interview with
Joe Low and Dibs show on 95.7 The Game. He was on there.
Right. He was giving an interview, Van, when they asked him about my quarterback, Eli Manning, and whether Mr. Manning was a Hall of Famer. And you got to hear Jerry's take.
Eli Manning, do you see him as a Hall of Famer?
No.
Even with the 2 Super Bowls?
No, I don't see Eli as a Hall of Famer.
Jerry said no, and then he started laughing for a second.
Drew Brees, yes, I did.
Oh, well, that's easy. Drew Brees is going to be first ballot.
You know, when I'm judging a player, I'm looking what he brings to the table, and what I see with Eli Manning, there's not consistency.
Well, I'm not quite sure if I can agree with you on that one, Jerry. I think that Eli Manning has been consistent. He's been consistently bad over the course of his career. A lot of people are not going to like this. I think that Eli's probably had 3 or 4 good seasons in his whole career. The year after they won their first Super Bowl, he was playing very well. The year they won their second Super Bowl, he was exemplary. He was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And if you remember, prior to that season, it was a very controversial interview where he was asked by someone, I'm trying to remember who it was, maybe Michael Kay. I think it was Michael Kay who asked Eli Manning if he thought that he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and Eli said yes. And he was derided for it. And then he went out that season and proved that he was. That season was also the emergence of Victor Cruz. And of course, that season culminated in the Giants winning the World Championship against the New England Patriots. And I believe that they also defeated the Patriots that regular season leading up to the championship, where they rematched them and beat them again.
I would think that Drew Brees is going to be a shoe-in.
Oh, hell yes. Drew Brees is going to be a first ballot. And for whatever reason, Drew Brees' teammates, they're just in love with that dude. Like, there's probably going to be a bunch of New Orleans Saints there when Drew Brees gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, crying in the front row.
Eli, there's a chance of him getting in, but I'm not going to say he's a true Hall of Famer.
In other words, Jerry knows that Eli is going to get in because of his last name, but he knows that he's not going to deserve to get in.
Wow. Now, here's the thing for me. Most of the time when somebody talks crap on Eli, what you then do is talk crap on those people and say what they didn't do.
So tell me what you want me to start.
There's no way you can talk that type of crap about Jerry Rice.
I'm not going to say what Jerry Rice didn't do because he accomplished everything on the football.
Jerry Rice was so dominant in the Super Bowl, man. Of course, this right here, I believe, is Super Bowl 24, where they faced off against the Denver Broncos. To this day, that team, the 1989 49ers, they're the best team that I ever saw. Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig, Brent Jones, the great Joe Montana at quarterback, Tom Rathman at fullback. It's the best football team I ever saw.
On the football field, he wishes he was still there and he was still relevant. Jerry Rice is a 56-year-old man who goes to golf tournaments wherever he can find them across the country and takes his shirt off and dances. He's doing anything.
So what? He getting all that scattered asses at them golf tournaments. Let that man live. If he want to get on stage and strip and show his 56-year-old body, let him do it.
To stay relevant.
That's a thin argument, Babs.
Well, how about this?
Go ahead, Jerry. With your no rhythm having ass. But let me say this. Jerry goes to them golf tournaments, and them white women, they get around him. I guarantee you, he taking home at least 3-4 snow bunnies before the weekend is over.
That's so thin. That Babcock, that argument, I mean, that's like Crispin Glover thin. That argument is so thin. You cannot, this guy has accomplished every single thing. He maybe is statistically the greatest football player of all time.
Okay.
No doubt, in my view, he's the greatest football player of all time.
So you're saying his opinion doesn't matter?
If Jerry Rice played today, where they could not even touch him coming off the line of scrimmage, he would get 2,000 yards a season receiving. I mean, he had years in the mid-90s where you could really bump receivers, where he had over 1,800 yards receiving one year. I believe that Calvin Johnson just broke his record for most yards receiving in a season a few years ago.
No, I'm not saying his opinion doesn't matter, but I'm so tired of hearing about statistics. Who cares? Jerry, here's a statistic. Drew Brees has 1 Super Bowl. Eli Manning won 2. The name of the game isn't to score, to gain yards, or to score touchdowns.
Right, but Mike Babcock, I mean, come on, that's kind of frivolous. Phil Simms was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he really was the quarterback for that second team. It's just that he got hurt, and Jeff Hostetler took over. So are we going to say that Phil Simms is as great a quarterback as Drew Brees?
So you're saying
the name of the game is to win football games and to win Super Bowls.
So you're saying that...
I mean, hell, Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl. That season that Mark Rippon had 91, that was one of the best seasons that I can remember a quarterback having, especially in regard to a quarterback who never had a season anywhere near that before that or after that. I mean, like, it was truly an anomaly.
That Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Drew Brees.
That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that Eli...
Hang on. So Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Dan Marino, too.
Eli better than Dan Marino?
Charles!
That's a great point. Dan Marino was probably the best thrower of the football that I can remember until Aaron Rodgers.
Get off our show!
Just asking a question, bro.
Wow.
Thank you.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. It was nice to see Jerry tell the truth, but I do think that Eli Manning is going to get into the Hall of Fame. So peace.